Have you ever felt like your entire world has unraveled? Like you're standing in the ashes of a life that no longer feels like your own, but unsure of what to do next? If so, you might be going through what's known as the dark night of the soul. And that is a profoundly challenging, yet deeply transformative experience that can change your life forever, but only if you let it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to HPTV channel. I am Barbara, and today we're diving into the depths of the dark night of the soul. What is it? Why does it happen? And most importantly, how can you navigate it to emerge stronger, more aligned, and more authentic than ever? Whether you're an empath, an HSP, or simply someone seeking clarity, this journey has something to teach all of us. So let's explore it together. Let's start by talking about what is a dark night of the soul. Because a dark night of the soul is not just another rough patch, it's a complete spiritual and emotional upheaval. A time when the foundation of your life just seems to crumble. You're left questioning everything that you once believed in, from your purpose to your relationships to your very sense of self. I've been there, I know. And for me, it felt like standing on quicksand with no solid ground beneath me. It's uncomfortable, disorienting, and even terrifying at times. But it's not without purpose. You're going through this for a reason. The dark night of the soul forces you to let go of the false narratives, the social conditioning, and the ego driven identities that no longer serve you. It's a journey of breaking down in order to break through, much like the phoenix that turns to ashes and then arises more beautiful than before. So, why does a dark night of the soul happen? Well, this kind of upheaval is often triggered by a significant life event, like the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or even a subtle but undeniable realization that your current life no longer aligns with your deeper truth. And for empaths and HSPs, the experience can be even more intense. Our heightened sensitivity makes us more aware of the disconnect between our inner selves and the outer world. We're not just feeling our own pain, we're often absorbing the pain of others, making the dark night of the soul feel even heavier. But this sensitivity is also our superpower because it helps us to tune into the subtle shifts that are required for such profound growth. So, in the dark night of the soul, there are 5 stages, and I want to go through them with you so that you can see in which stage you are. And I would love it if you would share in the comments below this video which stage you are in, but that you also know what steps are coming and sort of know how to navigate through this dark night of the soul. So, the first stage is the stage of the trigger. It all starts with a disruption of some sort, a moment or an event that shakes your sense of stability. This might be a job loss or a breakup or even a creepy sense of discontent. It can even be planetary alignments or you finally stepping into your soul's purpose. The second phase is then the void. This is a time of profound emptiness. You can feel very disconnected, like nothing makes sense anymore. The things that you find valuable once are no longer that valuable. The things that were important are no longer that important or not important at all. And you feel like you cannot talk to the people around you. You can be very alone or lonely. There's a distinction between the two. And for me, this stage felt like wandering in the dark without having a clear direction. I didn't really know where to go. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't really know what sparked my joy anymore. I didn't know if what I thought I wanted with my business was still what I wanted to do with my business. I just Yeah, I felt icky and I didn't know. This is the void. Then the third stage is the stage of confrontation. And this is where the real work begins. Here you will confront deep fears or you will start healing unresolved wounds. And this is also the part where painful truths can rise to the surface. It's messy, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, and it's often overwhelming. Unfortunately, you need to go through it in order to come out on the other side. So that brings me to stage number four, the stage of surrender. Because at some point, you realize that fighting or resisting the process only prolongs the pain. It only makes it worse, it makes it last longer, and it's not serving you. And when you see this, then you've reached the turning point, the moment that you let go of control and start trusting in the journey. For me, surrendering meant accepting that I didn't need to have all the answers. I just needed to take it one step at a time. I stopped with the 10-year goal, the 5-year goal, the 1-year goal, and all the planning that so many people teach us, taught me. And I just started focusing on what makes me happy today. What of all the things that I can do is something that makes me happy today? And then the next day, I did the same thing. What can I do today? And I discovered that a lot of the things that I was doing did not spark my joy. And when I started shifting to doing the things that were sparking my joy, it became more effortless. It started to feel more joyful, more fun. And I stopped worrying about the future. That was so liberating. And that then takes me to the fifth step, which is rebirth. Because finally, clarity begins to emerge. You rebuild your life on a foundation of authenticity, of your true purpose, and of alignment to source. And this is the stage where the transformation becomes visible to you and also to the outside world. So let's talk a little bit more about the surrender stage and the power of surrender, because this really is where the magic happens. And this is so difficult. It was so difficult for me, and I see it with clients that I'm having. It's very difficult for them. So surrendering doesn't equal giving up. No, even though it might feel like you're giving up. I remember distinctly that I thought, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot take this anymore. I'm giving up. In the end, of course, I'm still here. I'm creating this video. I didn't give up. But in that moment, it did feel like giving up. But that's not what is happening. It just means that you are letting go of resistance. I tried so hard to turn my life around, to make my business a success, to find new friends, all of the things that I thought I wanted in my life. And I worked really, really hard at it because I had learned if you don't have what you want, then you need to work harder and you need to do something else. And I tried every single thing until there was nothing left I could think of. And I still didn't have the things that I wanted. So I gave up, but in essence, I just let go of my resistance. Because surrender is about trusting that this process that you are in, this dark night of the soul, no matter how painful it might be, is leading you to something meaningful, to somewhere meaningful. And for me, surrender looked like releasing my need to control every outcome. Instead of trying to fix things, to turn things around, I allowed myself to simply be. Literally, I went with my hammock to my lake and I just was. I was in the sun, I was lounging, I was not doing anything. I was just sitting with me, allowing myself to be, to sit with my emotions, to embrace the uncertainty, to feel the pain of Well, what I thought was giving up, but that turned to be surrendering because you have a dream, right? Or I had a dream. I wanted something and it wasn't happening. And it hurts when you have to let go of that. So you need to trust when you're in this phase that clarity will come when it's time. It comes in its own time. You cannot force it, you cannot make it come. Clarity happens in its own time. And the only things that you can do to help yourself surrender more is, well, the known things like meditation or journaling or spending time in nature. And it's mostly this last thing, as spending time in nature, that really helped me anchor myself in this surrender stage. So a question I get asked very often, and that also was my question, is can I have more than one dark night of the soul? And yes, that can happen. I always thought it's once, like this earth-shattering, really big event, and then you're through it. But no, that's not the case. I think I've had at least five of them by now. So the Dark Night of the Soul isn't a one and done type of experience. And for empaths and HSPs, it can happen multiple times. Every time we peel back a layer of ourselves and go deeper, and peel back deeper layers of conditioning and come into closer alignment with who we truly are, our authentic self, our true self, each time it brings new lessons and new opportunities for growth. I do, however, see that it's never as bad as that first time anymore. And because along the way, you start recognizing the signs. And that's a big reason why we study human design and the gene keys in my Solutions for Life and Business tier in my solutions community. Because the better you know your shadows and your shadow patterns, the easier you recognize them, you recognize when they're happening, you know how to move out of them, and the quicker you turn your dark night around and you embrace your growth and you up level. So there are also some hidden gifts in the Dark Night of the Soul that I want to tell you about. And for most of us, the Dark Night of the Soul feels like a really big ordeal. And again, the more you go through, the less of an ordeal it becomes. But the Dark Night of the Soul ultimately is a gift because it is an opportunity to reconnect with your authentic self, who you really are. It is also an opportunity to discover a deeper sense of purpose. You could call it your soul purpose. And it is also an opportunity to build resilience and to start having more self-compassion. And this is also something that doesn't come natural for most empaths and HSPs. And for us, it also helps deepen our ability to support and to uplift other people. And by navigating our own depths and becoming more equipped to hold space for everyone around us, we can step into our purpose. So if you are in the midst of a dark night of the soul, then know you are not alone. This is a transformative process, and though it feels very difficult right now, it is leading towards a life of greater authenticity and fulfillment. I would love it if you would share your Dark Night of the Soul story in the comments, or like I said earlier, which stage of the Dark Night of the Soul are you in currently? Have you had multiple ones? Or maybe just a kind word of understanding or encouragement for those who are watching this video that are going through it right now. I would love it if you would do that. And if this video resonated with you, then I would love it if you could give it a like, if you could subscribe to my channel, and maybe share this video with anyone who might need to hear this message. And if you would like some personal guidance through your dark night of the soul, then don't hesitate to book a free clarity call with me. The link to do so is below this video, as is the link to join the solutions community, because you don't have to go through this alone. Together we can navigate these challenges so that we can emerge stronger than ever. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I love inspiring you. I look forward to inspiring you with next week's video. And for today, I wish you an amazing rest of your day.